JRPGs. They remind me of cozy Saturday mornings, armed with a fresh bowl of cereal as we ran around new worlds, getting awesome superpowers, taking out the big bad, and at the end of the day, going home a hero. Hey everybody out there, my name is Tim, and today we're here to talk about Square Enix's latest addition into that long and storied tradition, Neo The World Ends With You. This is the sequel to the 2007 DS hit, and for the unfamiliar, it's a game about a group of moody teens who get stuck in a deadly version of Shibuya, Japan, in what can be best described in a Hunger Games meets Persona style adventure with some pretty awesome action RPG combat. In the original game, that manifested itself in a pretty unique way. Dual screen combat, something that had never really been done up until that point. Players were expected to pay attention to both screens at the same time, with touchscreen control controlling the bottom character and the buttons controlling the top. But does that kind of innovative combat translate over to a singular screen? And does this sequel carry forward the same kind of fun and character and charm that made people fall in love with the original in the first place? Well, I'm pleased to report that the answer is an emphatic yes. This game is great. If everything I've talked about in this opening is right up your alley, then you don't need me to continue convincing you. Go out and get it right now, because you will enjoy it, I promise you. But for those of you who may need a little bit more, let's dive in and see what makes this game unique. Neo TWEWY tells the story of Rindo and Fred, two kids who were having an ordinary day out shopping until that pesky truck came along. Suddenly they were thrown headfirst into a game where the dead really can die again, and of course the fate of the entire city is on the line. I mean, it's a JRPG. What'd you expect? But the cast of characters are all really cool, and each one of them, with a face at least, is unique. The whole story is told with a mix of cutscenes and comic-like dialogue bits, and I gotta admit, it flows pretty dang smoothly. It feels like you're watching a manga play out, complete with some pretty incredible off-model expressions, which I always enjoy. And the story is a really great one that's being told too, something that I think old fans and new players will really be able to enjoy. But one of the hardest things to do in these kind of games is finding that balance between sticking to the plot, which can make a world feel very linear, and doing side quests, which can pull you away from the purpose of the story. So, how does this game do it? Well, without giving too much away, the game is essentially broken up into a series of days. Some days have side quests, some days don't. And the devs really did a great job of integrating the two, I think. Every time I felt bogged down by just how heady the story can get sometimes, it would loosen up and kind of let me off the rails a little bit. Go do some side quests, have some fun, kick some butt, and then it would rein me back in and say, okay, it's time to press forward. At about time I was ready for it. It felt really nice. Side quests also feed into the social network, an ever-growing skill tree that expands as you meet more residents around town. These offer some pretty incredible quality of life upgrades, or unique items, or a new challenge or two along the way. So it really does become worth it to take your time and explore around, because new friends really can help you along the way. Now, as a personal note, I love non-traditional combat styles in these kind of games. The cross-skill system from Chrono Trigger and Cosmic Star Heroine, the fighting game-esque combos in Legend of Legaia, or pulling off that perfect gust of wind dance in Legend of the Dragoon. Those are some of my favorite battle systems ever created. And the original TWEWY with its dual-screen combat went right up there on the list. So I was very interested to see how this game would end up playing, and holy cow, you guys, the combat really works. You can tell it takes a lot of inspiration from the recent Final Fantasy VII remake. Both teams line up each on a side, a whistle blows, and then the battle starts. But this is where the game gets cool. Each character is assigned one attack on one button. Multiple attacks can be used at the same time, and spamming your skills might seem like the way to go, but every attack has a cooldown and a potential for a combo. So the trick is to combo skills from one character to the next, getting ready for an even more powerful attack. And when you get it right, boy does it feel good. Different pins give different characters different kinds of attacks. Some knock enemies around, some cause status effects. You've got blocks and heals and shurikens, and even one that lets you drop a bus on an enemy. I really don't know what more you could ask for here. There's a lot to experiment with once your party gets full, and you're able to unleash 3, 4, and even 6 attacks at once. Plus, the enemies are really well designed and have mechanics of their own to fight against. And if that's not enough to keep you challenged, then you can tailor the difficulty to the way that you want by lowering your level, which has the added bonus of increasing the drop rate across every fight you do. Enemies drop pins, the primary source of all of your attacks. And there are a lot of pins to collect, 312 to be exact. Some of them can be purchased from stores, but for the most part, you're going to be fighting enemies across all the different difficulties if you want to collect them all. Stores will also sell you some of the trendiest items in all of Shibuya, this game's version of armor. But everything's kept rather simple by the fact that there are only 3 stats to worry about, and each piece of armor has some sort of secondary passive that can help you determine whether you actually want to wear it or not. This game is oozing with charm and style, all the way down to the music. Takaharu Ishimoto, composer of the original game, came back with an absolute banger list of songs that runs the gamut of everything from metal to electro-funk, touching just about every bass in between. But that brings me to some of the not so great things about this game. There aren't many, but I feel like they are big enough for me to bring up, starting with the menus. There are 3 of them: the settings menu, the difficulty menu, and the character menu. And they're each on a different freaking button. I can't tell you the number of times that I would try to go to one and ended up on the other, or vice versa, and it's just needlessly frustrating. You know? One other thing is that there's no way to skip the cutscenes. You can pause them, but you can't skip them. And if you're going back and playing days over again, that's gonna get really annoying. So hopefully they can patch that in at some point. But other than that, I really found myself enjoying this game. Without spoiling anything more than I already have, the story is surprisingly touching and goes to some places that I genuinely never expected. The combat feels incredibly smooth once you get the hang of it, and I mean, I really can't recommend this game enough. You can check out more info by hitting the links in the description below. Hey, thank you so much for watching this review. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider subscribing, or share the video with some of your friends, or hit me up over on social media. I'm working really hard to get back into the swing of things here, and your support not only means the world to me, but it genuinely does help keep YouTube's algorithm monster happy. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming down the way, including some good old-fashioned gameplay videos. So thank you again, take care of yourselves out there, and we'll see you back here again soon. Bye.